Small talk. You know the drill. The weather, your weekend, that whole how are you thing where you're just supposed to say fine, but what if for some of us that little social dance feels less like a friendly greeting and, I don't know, more like a trap?
Right? If you've ever stood there smiling and nodding on the outside while you're kind of screaming on the inside, just desperate for a real conversation, well, you are in the right place. We're about to unpack the psychology of why so many of us really truly dread small talk.
So, first things first, we have to tackle a huge misunderstanding. Because, people who hate small talk often get a bad rap. They get labeled as antisocial or rude, but the real story is, well, it's way more interesting and complex than that. Okay, look at this contrast here. On the one hand, you've got the stereotypes: antisocial, arrogant, rude, disinterested. But then you look at what's really going on inside, and it's a completely different picture. It's not about disliking people. It's about things like brain wiring, a deep need for authentic connection, and frankly, just trying to save your energy.
Okay, so let's get into the good stuff, the psychology behind it all. What is actually happening in our brains that makes these surface-level chats feel so incredibly draining for some? Turns out, there is some actual science at play here, and it really shows that it's not just you, it's your brain.
So it all starts with this idea called cognitive load. The easiest way to think about it is like your brain is a computer, and your working memory is its RAM. Small talk forces you to run all these programs at once. You're processing social cues, you're trying to remember the right script, you're basically putting on a performance. And for what? A conversation that often feels totally empty. It is a massive amount of mental effort for a super low reward.
And that leads right into this idea of a social battery. For a lot of people, especially introverts, social energy isn't some infinite well you can just draw from all day. It's a battery with a limited charge. And small talk? It feels like you're spending 50% of your battery on an app that doesn't do anything useful. It drains you without giving you that recharge you get from a real connection.
So let's just break it down. Why is it so draining? Well, for starters, it feels fake. Like you're reading from a script. That feeling blocks any path to a genuine connection. It also means you're constantly filtering what you really think. Plus, let's be honest, it's not exactly stimulating. And for a lot of people, it just creates this anxiety about saying the right thing. It's exhausting.
And this brings us right to the heart of the matter. It's this deep, powerful craving for depth. See, hating small talk isn't really about avoiding people at all. It's about wanting something more. The real goal here is connection, actual, genuine human connection.
And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? Small talk is all on the surface. It's about being polite. But big talk, now that's where the good stuff is. That's when you get into passions, ideas, what we're afraid of. Sure, it takes a little more vulnerability, but the payoff is a real, authentic bond. That's what people are trying to get to.
This quote just hits the nail on the head. The whole point is to connect more meaningfully. And from that perspective, small talk doesn't feel like a helpful bridge, it feels like a giant wall standing in the way.
And look at the benefits of getting past that wall. We're not just talking about feeling good in the moment. These meaningful conversations, they create bonds that actually last. They've been shown to literally boost our well-being, they build real empathy, and they can spark amazing, creative new ideas. It's powerful stuff.
So, this is the big question, right? How do we actually do it? How do we build that bridge from the shallow end to the deep end of the pool? In this last part, we're going to look at some really practical ways to help close that gap.
And just to be super clear, this isn't just for the people who hate small talk. This is for everybody. It's for those of us who want to have deeper conversations and for those of us who want to better connect with the people in our lives who do. It's about meeting in the middle.
All right, here are 4 simple, actionable steps. First, ask open-ended questions. Instead of, good weekend, which is a yes-no answer, try, what was the highlight of your weekend? See the difference? One's a door closer, the other's a door opener. Second, share a little something about yourself, a quick, real story. Third, really listen for those points of connection, those, oh, me too moments. And finally, dare to be a little vulnerable. Gently shift the conversation from just facts to how you feel about those facts.
So when you boil it all down, the most important thing to remember is this. Hating small talk doesn't make someone antisocial. It just makes them differently social. It's a preference for depth over breadth, for quality of connection over quantity of interactions. It's about wanting conversations that fill you up, not just drain your battery.
And once you understand that, it kind of changes everything, doesn't it? It reframes what feels like a social weakness into a really powerful drive for authenticity, and it gives all of us the tools to build better, more meaningful connections. So, I guess the only question left is, what big talk are you going to start today?